Hi guys, and welcome back to the Boozy Botanical podcast.
Hello, hello.
I'm Holly, and here I have my beautiful Angelique.
I thought you were going to say beautiful bride, and I got really excited.
I cut you off there. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. And I'm Angelique. Hello.
How's everyone doing? We're so excited. I can't believe this is episode 5.
Episode 5. We hope you guys enjoyed last week with my friend Matt. Our friend Matt,
Yes. He's my friend too.
I know. I still want to share. No, it was really fun. I really enjoyed it.
It was a good one. So much
It's
fun. But yeah, how are you doing this week? What's new?
Good.
What's happening?
Well, what are you drinking first off?
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, I'm kind of finishing off a mimosa and also drinking Starbucks at the same time. I'm like,
what a mix.
It's a vibe. I'm
not going to feel
confused.
good after this.
I don't know. I think it's fine. Like, and I also have my water.
You're like, I'm a professional. I'm a veteran when it comes to mixing. So.
I know, right? It's like, what is the vibe? Is it like caffeine and coffee, but then I'm also like chilled out with my wine?
It's like your brunch on steroids right now,
Yes.
I think. Saturday brunch.
Hardcore brunch vibes. That is what's happening.
I'm drinking a mimosa, and then off screen, I've got a water I'm probably going to forget about. So.
I know, don't we all?
But it's A-okay. So yeah, I'm just going hard with the champagne. I
a
don't think
good
I
one.
like champagne, so I'm like, what am I doing here?
Well,
But
okay, I poured yours and I did give you more orange juice than champagne.
you're like, she's a baby. But this is my second glass.
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
So I poured this one, and I was like, I don't know how much to do. And like with these silicone cups that we use, like I don't really see what I'm doing. I'm just like, oopsie.
I know, but you know what? Sometimes it just works out the way it's supposed to.
Good. But how are you? How's your week been? Have you been
good.
a busy potter, if you will?
I've been somewhat busy. I went to I call it my pot dealer, where I buy all my pots.
Torrance.
In Torrance.
Wow.
So I got some more inventory, and then I've actually been selling a lot of plants, just like low key, not like as a branded thing, just like I'm trying to declutter some plants. So that's been fun.
How's that been emotionally for you?
Well, okay, you know what? It's been very good, except I sold my Florida red stem or whatever.
You told me.
I know. And it's funny because I was like, it was supposed to be sold to one person. She backed out, and I was like somewhat happy. And then the next day I get a message like, hey, is this still available? I'm like, yes.
Maybe. So like, what was it about her saying no that didn't make you take it off the listing? Like, what made you really commit to sell? Or were you just like, I'm not turning my back on this sort of thing?
It was 1 a.m. and I fell asleep. And then also it's funny because I had intended to take a cutting, and then I was just going to keep the top cutting, but the rooted plant part actually looked so cute, and it's in this really cute terracotta pot. It's growing up like a little stake, and I don't know, it just looked really cute. So I had considered, well, maybe I'll just sell the top cutting and I'll keep the
That's still really valuable, yeah.
But you know what? Things work out the way it's supposed to work out, and it's good. I'm getting rid of plants.
And you have the top cutting, so you're not losing the plant itself forever.
Yeah, it'll look better again. Like, you know, just like I grew out my original plant, it'll start to look good.
Good. So you're helpful Hollying yourself, if you will.
Exactly. That's the segment this week.
Right.
I'm helping myself out.
Helping myself purge.
And I love getting rid of things, even not just like with plants, like old clothes, old like cups.
Give them to me.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. I love that.
But yeah, so that's been my week.
For me, I got 2 new plants, not just one, Holly.
Ooh, I was with you when you got one, but tell me about the other one.
So you were with me the other day when I picked up a Calathea Orbifolia that's hella mature.
And it's big, it's beautiful.
It's a big boy. Like, for those of you that are into Calathea, I mean, let me know. It might be different depending on where you live, but here in LA, they're just now starting to pop up at nurseries. But these are like 2 to 4 inch pots that are still around $15 each.
Usually scraggly too.
They're always beat up. They're always like, they're
like, hi, like, can you help me?
Buy me, please. I'm not going to have any leaves by the time we get home, but help me, please. And it's like $15, give or take. Sometimes maybe even more. And
I know.
It's just like, I don't mind some blemishes on a plant that I buy, especially if it's a wish list plant and I can hopefully like bring in happy growth. But overall, like I want them to be gorgeous, like sorry if I come off superficial, but like well,
it's always good to start off with a healthy plant. So I don't blame you there.
Totally. And I had an Orbifolia earlier on that died when I moved to the new place. I think I might have chatted about that in episodes 2 or 3.
And that was small.
And I paid around $30, I think. I thought I was getting it for like 24, 25, and the guy's like, no. So I got it for 30.
You're
whatever.
Like, fine.
I'm like almost positive I got it for 30, or he wanted 30, and then I thought I was getting it for 20. I paid between 25 and 30. And the thing is, I've talked about this with you all the time. I think plants generally on ads look way bigger in the photos than they do when you actually pick them up. And it's
that's why I do feel bad for some sellers. They always get at least one review that says, well, it's smaller than I thought, but I guess it's fine.
Right. And it's like, you still bought it.
Like, I understand, but it is kind of a bummer.
That's why I am all about the people that put a quarter next to their plant or a Sharpie. It's always a quarter or a Sharpie. And then like sometimes it's a tape
ruler,
measure.
Yeah.
To me, it's just like, I mean, maybe it's different people that didn't study like film or photography and stuff like that. But like we understand depth perception and how like it looks bigger than what it is. So if anytime I sell a plant on Facebook or anything, I try to make it clear that like, hey, it looks big, but it's only 6 inches tall.
And also,
I don't want to get disappointed because I've been disappointed.
I think a good trick that some sellers have done, and I've experienced this, the listing photo will be pretty small, but then what you end up getting is significantly larger. So you're like, oh, this is so much bigger.
Bonus.
Yeah. So you go into it and you're just so excited,
Totally.
So that's a little,
that's kind of how it was with this plant, because I showed you a photo being like, I think I'm going to get this plant. It was $30. I was like, some of these leaves look really mature, but I've gotten so used to showing up and it's smaller than expected.
Right.
So I was like, some of them look big, but it's probably not that big. And it was so funny. I asked the seller, she didn't have a lot of info on it. She just like sent me photos and I was like, oh, what size pot is it in? And she's like, I think it's like a 3-gallon, but I'm not sure. And I'm like, honey, it is not
3 gallon.
We're not talking about fiddle figs. Even my fiddle figs in a 1 gallon. Like, where do you think I'm gonna put this?
3 gallons.
Imagine how much a 3-gallon Orbifolia would cost. Do they exist?
Gorgeous.
Do they exist even in the wild? I don't know. How big do they get? Like, I think that's not
maybe in Hawaii.
Legal. I don't think are they in the wild in Hawaii?
Well, I just know like when we were on our honeymoon, I saw Calathea. Is it ornata? That's pinstripe,
yeah.
Growing in like the hotel landscape. Now, of course, that's not wild, but they were big.
It's landscaping. It's not a houseplant at that point.
It was just landscaping, yeah. So I just assumed that they could grow in Hawaii.
So humid. That makes sense. That's crazy. But like, I was like, oh, okay. Like, what am I going to tell this person? Like, honey, you don't have... Why do I keep saying honey? I feel so rude. Sorry. Like, lady.
Hey, you...
Woman. But no, she was a really nice seller. I was just like, because she did it, she's like, I don't remember, but I think it's a 3-gallon. And I was just like, I don't think it is.
And it's funny because it's
on a table in your photo.
And it was so far off because that's not even, okay, maybe 3 inches, like 3 gallon. No, it was not even that.
No, but we show up and it's in an 8-inch nursery pot and this thing is overflowing.
Yeah, it was big.
It's so big. If you go on my Instagram, it's on my Orbifolia highlight. It's bigger, like, the leaves are bigger than my hand overall. And I got little kid hands. My hands are tiny, like it's like small. I have a small hand.
So, you do. So tiny feet.
Like just so little. Stop it. Yeah. So like it was just so big. And I mean, I have my little tiny plants that I love, but I'm a sucker for a big ass plant. Like,
I love them big.
Oh, big, thick, and girthy is what I like to say. Girthy plant. But yeah, this plant was just so huge. And I was like, you were worth every penny. 30, because compared to your first purchase. If I paid 30 for the last one, which I paid between, again, 25 to 30. So like that thing was tiny and it had some beat up spots. And this one, out of maybe, there's probably like 10 leaves at least on it. Yeah, there's a few crispies. It's a Calathea. I'm not going to complain.
Right.
But thankfully she had it next to a Lavoit humidifier. It's right next to it. And I have to had it next to my humidifier that I got for Christmas. Bless you. So, sorry. But yeah, I think it's going to be okay. I'm feeling good about it. So I showered the hell out of it because we found one mealybug.
One mealy, but it could have just been thirsty, like
Yeah.
the plant, and then which attracted one mealybug. Not
Just
a huge
one.
deal.
Yes. So that was that. So I think it's going to be okay. I'm just trying to find the perfect pot now because
I know.
I have a stand for it because as I mentioned in Matt's episode, I abused my favorite Monstera and now I'm re-rooting it.
Right.
And so it used to be in a 10-inch pot and it's going to need like a 6-inch pot or a 4-inch pot by the time I have
So
roots.
you can't use that stand.
Right.
Probably for a little bit.
Exactly. But I was like, let me just use it for the Orbifolia. But
So do you
because I
think-
have them next to them. I have it next to the Monsteras.
Yeah. And that was my idea.
It was totally your idea. I was like, Holly, I don't know where the hell I'm going to put this plant. And you're like, it needs to go next to the Monstera.
Well, because the humidifier's right there.
Right.
But do you think you're going to plant it in like ceramic or do you think you're going to go terracotta?
What do you think I should do? Because my last Calathea,
It was in ceramic.
Was it in ceramic?
Because when I
Which pot
cat
was it?
sat for you,
I don't remember which pot it was.
it was in like one of your blue and white, like
oh.
Remember from the
it
market?
was? Because my
thought-
pinstripe for sure. Maybe. Okay. I guess so. I don't remember.
think.
So like that one was
I
like,
could be wrong,
it's
but-
like glazed terracotta.
I thought
The
it was,
bottom of it's terracotta, but the top of it's like,
it had some sort of glaze on it in it.
Yeah, I
somewhere.
think you're right.
So it wasn't super
what do
porous.
you think I should do? Like, what would you do?
I mean,
With such a mature specimen as well.
like I'm not the best with Calathea, but I assume you could definitely put it in ceramic. I mean, of course you don't want it
look
to
pretty. Retain too much?
Yeah, retain too much. But when I had my Calathea Orbifolia, I had it in ceramic.
Orbifolia?
Or sorry,
Ornata.
Ornata.
I was
Too
like,
many
why do
O's.
you have one?
Too many O's. And I never repotted that one, and you know,
For a long
except for the
time.
first time I ever brought it
Right,
home,
right,
repotted
right.
it, and it was always just in a ceramic pot. So
Okay.
that's, I mean, you
And
could
they're so
try.
cute.
Now, if you want to put it in terracotta, I would say just like keep track of the water. You know, like obviously it's
Right.
going to be by a humidifier. Again, I'm not the best person to ask with
Yeah.
Calatheas, but that's what I would do.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go pot shopping then because I don't know what it is, but so like the plant stand that I currently have available has like, it's like very mid-century modern wooden, so it has like
Yeah.
the sides go up the pot a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't like bells in those because I don't like the gap. So
I
that's
see
because my
that.
other one was is it a cylinder? Is that what you would call
cylinder
it?
shape.
So because you sell that shape too.
Yes.
So I think if I were to keep it in that plant stand, I would need it to be cylindral, and I have a lot of bells sitting around. So I'm like, damn it. So
Although, didn't I give you an 8-inch terracotta? But you're using that. something
I was
else?
thinking of using that one.
You should. That'd be so pretty.
But then I'm like, you know what? Because I suck at watering. We all know this, and I'm trying to get better. But I know you said you're not the best, but you have a good point. If I go with ceramic, for a Calathea, maybe it's more forgiving because it'll retain more moisture.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to rot either. That's always my fear with ceramic, is that it's just in there to stay. You know what I mean?
I would almost feel like pretty confident if
the
you were to just put
terracotta?
it in. Well, I was gonna say ceramic.
Oh, ceramic. My bad. I need to not cut you off anymore. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's
Go
okay.
ahead. So you think ceramic will probably be fine?
I think so, only
Okay.
because that's like my past experience, so that's what I can like,
Gauge
speak
it.
on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have full faith in you.
Thank
I think you got this.
So I'll go pot shopping, and then I'll keep you guys posted on what I
Yay.
go with, because it's so beautiful and it should not be living in a nursery pot. And I also this is me being lazy, but I don't want to stress it out. But I haven't changed the soil because I don't have a pot to put it in, and I don't want
Yeah.
to be like, take it out, put fresh soil, put it back in the nursery pot, and then move it to ceramic, and then
Oh, yeah.
So I'm
I would
trying
just
to
wait.
wait. Yeah. So I gave it a big shower. Well, I was gonna give it a shower, but then I was like, no, I need distilled water. So I gave it a
yeah.
distilled shower. I didn't
Look
actually.
at you.
Oh yeah, I was like, I'm not messing this one up.
You're like, not again.
By the way, if anybody has recommendations, I'm trying to do my research, but I am not having luck, Holly, on finding an eco / just like time efficient way to get distilled water.
I know.
So I looked on Amazon. I was like, maybe I can get big jugs of it delivered to my house. Amazon doesn't offer distilled delivery. They just tell you to like order through Whole Foods. And I was like, that's the same thing as me going to
I
Ralph's.
know.
And then I'm sick. Like, I'm trying to be like, I know people are like, it's not a big deal, but I'm trying to use less plastic. And I have
Yeah.
at this point, because I don't remember, what's the name of the your dream humidifier that I bought.
Oh yeah.
The one that you told me to buy.
Well, honestly, I don't know what it is. It's not
gorgeous.
a Lavoie. It's like a very long, sort of narrow teardrop
It looks like it's
shape.
from the future.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
It's just like an Amazon brand, but I just thought it was really cool and like,
it doesn't look ugly. It's not chunky. And I
It's
feel
nice,
like the
yeah.
Lavoie, I would have gone with the Lavoie one otherwise, but like
You need
it's so
counter
big and
space or
rectangular.
something.
And this one is floor standing and it's like 3.5 feet tall or something. It's huge.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful. But I had a reason for saying all of this. What was I talking about? I had second champagne in, second mimosa in. Oh my God. Why did I bring this up? This is so embarrassing. Oh my God.
well,
Oh my God.
it's more embarrassing for me because
You also
clearly
don't know
I
what I was
wasn't paying attention. I mean, I was, but like,
you know, but like,
okay, well,
I get it. You know,
basically you're looking for a pot for your new amazing Calathea.
Oh no, don't remember. I thought I had it back. I'm so sorry.
We're gonna listen
guys.
back to this and be like, what the fuck? We're gonna be screaming at
I know
ourselves.
this is so embarrassing, but it's a-okay. Oh my God, I had way too much to drink.
No, you're fine.
What the hell was I talking about?
What we were talking about?
I was getting excited. I
humidifiers.
was getting ramped up. That's why I don't remember what I was saying. I was getting revved.
Well, we were talking about. Oh no. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? It's okay. Let's just keep moving forward.
Pretty much, I got an Orbifolia. I'm really happy about it, and it's gonna look gorgeous in probably a ceramic pot. And
that's it.
If you want to remind me what I was talking about, please tell me. And to top it all off, I bought a Raphidophora tetrasperma. I said it right.
Good job.
Raphidophora tetrasperma. I got a rooted cutting that's about 2 feet tall. And it's just, I'm really excited because recently I was over at Holly's and I partook in a substance and it was a little shot of something. And I was chatting with Holly.
But it wasn't alcohol.
It was like, what was the brand? Keef or Reef?
I don't remember.
It's just like a little shot of THC, pretty much.
We're in
But
California. It's legal.
it's illegal, guys. But it was so funny. I was talking to Holly about something that had nothing to do with plants. And I guess I was looking at her tetrasperma, and in my head, because there's like a little spot where there's a gap where there aren't leaves.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, I don't know what inspired me to do this, but in my head, I imagined like snipping it right there. But I don't know if like I really wasn't thinking like maybe I'll snip it and just take it home. Like I wasn't trying to steal this plant, but like I guess somewhere in me, I was like, let's just give it a little.
You're just like, Holly, just give me that piece.
But I wasn't trying to. I don't know what came over me, but I'm talking to Holly and all of a sudden her and my boyfriend and Tyson are all just like looking at me because I just raise my fingers and do a little scissor clip with my fingers. And then I don't say anything. I don't acknowledge it. And then I'm like, wait, did I do that for real? I thought I did it in my head.
See, I didn't realize that. Like you had like, I think you became aware of what you did before even I did. So I'm like, wait, what?
And
you were so embarrassed.
I got caught in the act. I apparently was trying to steal her Raffi. So I bought my own to make up for it.
It's totally fine though. It was really funny.
Oh my God, it's hilarious. I'll post pictures once it's all taken care of.
Oh gosh. Well, does that bring us into our plant mommy? Did we miss anything?
No, I think that's it. Who is our plant mommy this week, Holly?
This week we have Paulina from grass.knot on Instagram.
Hello, Paulina. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I have been following Paulina for a while and she just has the most gorgeous plant collection. She's lived in 2 gorgeous New York apartments.
Oh, dreams.
She has adorable cats and she has a new puppy, a little, what do they call them? Cavalier King Charles. Mm-hmm. So cute.
I don't know.
So cute. Yes? The cutest little thing.
And she has 2 cats, you said, right?
Yeah, she has 2 cats.
I've seen pictures of them. They're the sweetest. I did a hella lurk and I was like, oh, wish my cat would stay still for a photo.
I know. I told Angelique, I'm like, you need to go on her page and follow her. She's so cute. She also has an account called Grass Not Plants, and it's her account where if you see a plant that you like, that maybe you want to buy from her, instead of DMing her, go to that account because that is where all the plants are available. And I have traded a plant with her too, and superb packaging, superb plants. She's just the best.
So it's for trades and purchases. Yes. You don't have to trade back if you just want to buy something, and then and she ships because obviously you're across the country.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? How did it come in? Was there any issues?
Great. Oh no, it was perfect.
Oh, that's awesome.
Her and I I think individually do trades and buy plants. She imports plants. So, you know, we're used to it. And it was perfect.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So give her a follow. Check her out. She's super nice. Has such a great aesthetic. Really good grasp on decor.
Yeah.
Oh, just such a beautiful home.
She does. She also has a really gorgeous IKEA greenhouse cabinet.
She has it.
She does.
Oh.
She also has some really pretty grow lights because it's really cool. So she has, I believe, north facing windows too. She talks about it a lot on her Instagram. So if you guys need some inspiration, go follow Paulina. You're going to love her.
Yay. It's so funny. Ever since you mentioned the greenhouse cabinet, I don't stop thinking about it. I'm starting to be like, because I was never, not that I wasn't into it. Like I've seen a lot of like greenhouse glass sort of setups and I think they're really pretty, but I never saw myself doing it. But now I'm like, I want more allocations.
It's just so aesthetic. Because I think you're right. When I first saw it, I was kind of like, okay, what is this? But dude, there's so many like things that you can customize with it. Like, yeah, it's really cool. Not to mention they have more than one style. So if you want like a shorter one, if you want a more narrow, if you want a super wide and tall one.
That's the thing. I think IKEA changed the game for it because before I was seeing people's like grow tent setups, interior, and like their like shelfy setups, but it was just like mesh shelves with like plastic around them. And I just thought they were ugly. Honestly, I was just like, I can't have that in my house.
Also, that's a really good segue into our main topic.
Oh,
because
yes.
I do think that there's like a fine line between like, there's just too many plants and it just kind of looks like I tell Tyson, like, I don't want my house to look like
hoarders.
Hoarders, but there's like a funny word. See, it's the alcohol. I can't remember anything.
But basically on a Saturday, guys.
Well, pretty much like I was just always afraid of my house kind of looking like it's a zoo. Like if there's cabinets and there's terrariums and it's like, is she growing lizards or is she?
Yes. Like we all knew one person that had a ton of reptiles in their house and it's very just like boxy. Yeah. You know, and like you don't see texture in the home. You just see like bloop, bloop, bloop.
And
does that make sense?
Yeah. And I love all animals. So of course you can have an aesthetically pleasing, you know, cage for a bearded dragon or frogs. Like there are ways to do it, but if it's done bad, it's bad.
It's not cute. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I think a lot of collectors in that world too, like it's nice if they have a grasp on decor as well, but some people aren't into decor. And that's so true. Like, and that's fine. It's totally, you're right. But when I see it, I'm just like, not for me. You know?
I think if I see my own space starting to look really cluttered and just not aesthetic at all, where it's like, do I live here or do just my plants live here? Yeah, do the
plants live here and am I just visiting or is this my house?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, so so what do you like want for your collection? Like have you, because I know in the past we've talked about kind of chasing the plant and stuff.
Exactly.
And like, but then chasing the plant can lead to a lot of clutter. And so I guess the question for today that we're getting at is, can one have too many plants? Yes or no, and how to work around it.
Yes. Yeah. And I think not everyone will agree with this topic, but that's what's so fun and juicy about this topic.
Get into it.
You know? So yes, my question would be, my answer to that question would be, I think yes, there is such a thing as too many plants, not only for like aesthetic reasons, but like even your mental health, like
when you're getting stressed about it and it's not therapy for you anymore.
It's not therapy anymore. I've totally been there. Like when I first started collecting, I guess you could say, I sort of just wanted any and all interesting Hoyas or interesting philodendrons, and it didn't really matter what it was, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And it doesn't, and I'm not trying to say now I've only graduated to rare plants because that's totally not true.
Right.
But it's more so like finding the plants that you like and knowing what kind of growth pattern am I attracted to and what am I not attracted to.
Right, totally.
So I think when it comes to knowing that, I think you can pick the plants that you actually want to own and chase those instead of chasing every kind of pothos because you're collecting a pothos you know what I mean?
Right. You're getting it solely for the sake that it's a pothos or
exactly.
Whatever.
So like for me, for the longest time, I didn't really like Mandula pothos. I'm like, I don't really like it. I'm good with my Marble Queen. Like that's all I want.
Yeah.
Whereas you know, in the past, maybe I would have been like, oh, I need it because it'll complete the collection, you know?
Right. But you do have one now.
I do. Because now I think they're pretty.
Right. You went through like a change.
Right.
That was me with Alocasia poly. At first, I was kind of just like, it's fine. But then I acquired 2 separate ones that I potted together. And I was like, I'm obsessed with you. And I want you to stay forever.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that can be fun too. Like, I think while you're exploring, sometimes you either are gifted plants or you just happen to buy something that was on sale and you don't know that you love it until you own it. And I think that's totally fine. Yeah. But what would be your answer to that? Can someone have too many plants?
Yes. I think you can have too many plants, but I think there are ways, like if it's not just you're just buying them to buy them and you do truly love all of them, I think there's a way to make it work, but you have to be realistic with yourself. Like,
it's true.
Like you guys live in a 1-bedroom right now. Mm-hmm. So of course, like you love so many of your plants, but you have to be realistic with the space you have. So I think a big solution that I've seen you guys do, and I've done this in my own home, is where can we build shelving that we can utilize? Where can we add a bar? Where can we add this and that? And if we can't, let's talk about getting rid of some sort of thing. And I think some people don't realize, like, you can add, when I say textures, like you can add shelves, you can add a plant stand. There's things you can do to make the space work more effectively for you. You can mount pots. Like, I think some people just think all they have is the top of a bookshelf or something, you know, or like the top of the fridge or whatever. And I think when you realize that there's a lot of ledges in a home and you can build a lot of ledges and spaces, I think if you're willing to just like go to Lowe's and have them chop you a piece of wood and grab a bracket, like it's not that hard.
It's so true. You know? I know it can be daunting for a lot of people, but like that was my first, like, you know, I guess realization when it comes to like my space and my plants early on was like, hey, I can make a floating shelf.
Right.
And, you know, to go a step further, you can add a grow light to those shelves. So
totally. That's what I've done.
Yeah. So places where you normally couldn't or wouldn't want to have plants, where they just wouldn't be happy, you know, you can do. And again, that's where the IKEA greenhouse cabinet is so cool. Because if you have a strong enough grow lights in them, you can essentially put it, and you should put it, I guess, in a dark corner.
Utilize that space.
Same thing with my grow tent.
Open.
Yeah, I was gifted a grow tent from Mars Hydro, and I love that thing so much. It's not for everyone. But what I do is I have it in the darkest part of my house because I couldn't have plants there.
You had a chair there before, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? This is where I'm going to put it then. It's like, it was made to be. Made to be, meant to be. Oh my God. I'm just embarrassing myself.
Girl, we're drunk a little bit. So I know I'm like sitting here. Holly was talking.
It's happy hour.
It is happy hour. Holly was talking and I was like, have I been on mute for the last 20 minutes? Like, I'm looking at the road being like, oh no.
Well, I can hear you through my headphones.
Thank
so I
God.
Think fine.
We'll see, guys. But, you know, it's exciting too to see your rare or like more temperamental plants thrive in the Mars Hydro too. I think, you know, in terms of like having too many plants, well, really quick, let me back up quickly. How you were saying you can add a grow light to a shelf. This isn't a shelf I built, but a lot of rentals I've noticed, and houses people own too, you'll have the toilet and then you'll have like a shelving unit built in, like that they like mount it to the wall. It'll be like little cabinets. You open it and there's like little shelves in there. And then, so I have one at my new rental. And the cool thing about it is that there's the cabinet and then there's like a little exposed shelf under it. And I was like, this is the perfect section for propagations and like 2-inch potted plants.
Right.
But it gets no light, even though it's a south facing bathroom.
It's tucked in a little cubby.
Right. Like there's no way. And you were like, how about you just try to add lights in some way? And I found, if anybody needs a recommendation, DM me. I found these great long petite grow lights that they're 2 separate like sticks, if you will, of like the purple and red sort of blue and red sort of grow light combo, but it's 2 separate sticks, 2 separate legs that combine into one cord. So I don't have to have multiple things plugged in. I just have one plugged in. I wrap it up so it doesn't hang, and like I kind of just like stuck it under the shelf with some glue or whatever, or like mounting piece of things. I don't know, but it looks so good.
It does. It's so cute.
It's like, yeah, and it's not invasive. Like there's in the past, I've kind of been like, I don't like the purpley look of grow lights. It's starting to grow on me for sure. And like, I love how in your place you have some lights that make it look like it's like meant to be there. And it's so exciting.
It's more like a fun sort of like
a pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I really like about this one is that even, so my big plants in the bathroom that can capitalize on that south facing window, they're doing great. And then I got my little cubby with like my little props and stuff like that, and it really was awesome. But in terms of being realistic with yourself, like what I mentioned when I first answered the question, I think, you know, you need to, something that I think I've had to remind myself constantly, and I think a lot of people need to do this, is to collect within your means financially. And
absolutely.
Like I can, in Los Angeles County, me and my boyfriend can only afford a 2-bedroom right now, you know, and we're blessed to have the space we do because it's not really an apartment. It's like a townhome. So I don't have anyone above or below or anything. So we, in terms of my plant collection, I've been able to grow it in this home. No pun intended. Because, you know, because I do have technically a little bit more space than before. But there's plants that I want that I've had to realize, like, they're not going to work in this house. And like, I can rig the hell out of my house and do a lot of changes, but you have to just kind of understand your space and know like when enough is enough. Because even me buying the Orbifolia I mentioned before, at first I was like, oh my God, where am I going to put this? And thankfully, like you helped me find a spot and it works out. But that's a temperament. That's probably now my most difficult plant I own, and hoping to God it doesn't die. But it's like, if I want to get multiple temperamental plants, that's going to start to be a challenge in my space, because I don't have a corner of the house that I can just blast a ton of humidity and keep it nice and warm all the time and things like that. So I think it's a matter of like being realistic with yourself, because I've bought plants thinking like it's going to be fine, and I have the space and I have, I have the temperature.
Haven't we all?
Totally. And then they die, and I'm mad that I'm like sad it's dead, and I'm mad that I wasted money. Because for me, it's like, I'm not made of money, but it's like, if you're making money, my friend, and you're on a month-to-month lease, bump up that house if you can do it. Like if you're someone that likes change and you're like, you know what, if you are so serious about plant collecting that you're like, you know what, it's getting tight in here, I'm not getting rid of any, get a new house, I guess. But most people, that's not realistic.
Right. Or you can get a greenhouse or put some in your
yard.
Yeah, things like that. But yeah, especially like when you're saying like to be realistic about your space. Like one thing that I had to, you know, realize that this house, even though we have way more windows than the last house
and a yard,
and we have lots of outdoor space, I don't have a lot of floor space in this house. So whereas my last place, I did have tall climbing moss pole type situations. And here, what I had to do was take a lot of top cuttings and sort of start over, essentially. Right?
Like with your silver sword, your big boy.
Yeah. And then also just, you know, I've been a little bit more drawn to, I guess, trailing plants. Like I love having philodendrons climb, and it's not that I can't do that anymore. But I had to go from having 3 large like floor plant statement philodendrons to, okay, which one's my favorite? I had to pick one.
Which one did you pick?
My bipennifolium, the one that's in the room.
Yeah.
Technically, I still don't have room for it.
But you're pushing.
Yeah. So yeah, I think, you know, another good trick is because we all love to collect new plants, and maybe like you were saying, you want like a change, but I know a lot of people, what they talk about is they'll have to get rid of a plant before they bring in new plants. And so that's a good thing, because honestly, for me personally, I don't really get into like the no buy months and a plant bans. I just personally don't think that works. It's kind of like if you put
dieting.
Yes, I was going to say, it's like as soon as you tell yourself you can't have sugar or you can't have chocolate, what do you think you're going to want, you know? And
I'm getting through this myself. It sucks. Don't do it.
So
it's like almost not healthy to think that way sometimes. Some people like that way of thinking, and if that works for you, fine. But
it comes from
No, please go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
I was just going to say it comes from a place of like, you're deprived. Like, oh, I just really wish I could go shopping. And it's like, if you want to go shopping, you want to go plant shopping, do it. But like, just really come to terms with like, okay, maybe I don't need this pothos that I've had for 5 years, or like, yeah. Did I mention I'm selling plants, guys? So yeah.
Right. I think knowing if and when to let go and like when to bring in the new. And yeah, I agree on that for sure.
You know, and I have a bullet point saying being grateful because...
Oh, yes. Let's get into that.
Yeah. So I've had a lot of newer plants come into my life over the summer because I've been doing a lot of plant trades, which your
COVID soiree.
Yes, which we did talk about this, I think, a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
It's a great way to save money, but also I had been neglecting some of my old plants, and I remember one night I was, having a little alcohol, hanging out, and I was like watering plants, and I had a couple of my Hoya publicalis, one of those.
Oh yeah.
And I was watering it, and literally, not to sound all foofy, but it was like hanging out with an old friend. Like, I can trust these plants. I know how much neglect and less water they can take. Like, it was just so nice. Like, the plant was like, hey, I'm still here for you,
Hey bitch, what's up?
Exactly. Like, I'm just hanging out on your shelf. Like, remember me? Yeah. And so it sounds kind of, hippie-ish, but I think it's just being grateful for your plants, and a good thing too to realize is like, you have what were once wishless plants to you, and to remember that, like
that's where the plant chasing comes in.
Totally. So like, I remember wanting a pink princess so bad. Like, I remember that was even over like an elbow, I wanted that so bad, like about 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. And I have to remind myself now, like, bitch, you have that plant you wanted. Yeah. I never thought I was going to own that plant. And I've taken propagations. I've taken so many cuttings. And so, yeah, I think that's a good way to keep you sort of grounded in that regard.
Agree. That reminds me, speaking of like little babies you love, I was going to mention this in our weekly catch up, but I had too much to say. Whoops. And then I forgot what I was saying. So God only knows. But this week, and this reminds me of like getting reconnected with your babies sort of thing. I have this little itty bitty succulent and a little teeny tiny terracotta, like a 2-3 inch terracotta pot, like super small.
Itty bitty.
Yeah. So when I first started my plant collection in summer of 2019, as I mentioned in episode 1, Josh and another friend of ours, they'd given me a few succulents. So I was having a real outdoor collection, if you will. And my birthday's in June 2nd, just so you all know.
Coming up.
Mail me gifts. But,
we'll have our P.O. box.
Yeah, I'm starting a P.O. box just for this. So my friend Alex, who I knew from an old job that I'd had when I was an assistant, she was living in Glendale at the time, and we didn't get to see each other often. So I saw her like a month and a half past my birthday, and she had told me like, I have a present for you. I've been holding it since your birthday. It's been in my shower, this and that. It was a little baby succulent. I was like, it was in your shower. You're like, oh God. But she's so sweet. And she's like, I know you're getting into plants, and I just thought you'd love. She went to like a festival and like found this and brought it from a couple hours away. It was so sweet. Aww. It was just a cute little tiny, I don't know. It's like, can it be an echeveria if the leaves are rounded rather than pointy?
So. Yeah.
It's still rosette-ish, sort of.
I'm sure.
I'll show you later. But I don't know if it developed mealybugs at my house, if it already had it from hers, because she didn't have plants in her house. This was it. But I've had this plant for like almost 2 years, and it's always pretty much had mealybugs. Like it's always had to be isolated. I've done the whole alcohol. The first time it happened, I cleaned it up as best as I could, and then they came back. And so eventually I just threw it in a corner outside, but I never had the heart to throw it away because it wasn't dead. And every time I watered it, it would plump up. So like it was alive. It just had residence. And so so it's been through 2 homes, I guess, but over the course of like 2.5 years, 2 years, sorry, almost like 1.5 to 2. But just this last week, 4 days ago, I walk out into the garden because I have a whole succulent garden, succulent and cacti. And I have it so I have my plant stand from Urban Outfitters. It's like on the floor in a corner, far from all the other plants, gets no light. It's just sad. But we had rain a few weeks ago. So I checked. I was like, you know what? I never look at, it's to the point where it's been knocked over. It has barely any soil in it. Like I don't know how it's alive.
It's hanging out.
Right. So I picked it up and I was like, let's see if you're dead yet, sort of thing. And she's fat as a button. Cutest little thing on the planet.
No mealybugs?
No, tons. Overflowing.
God. Girl, okay, side note, you can use systemic granules.
What are systemic granules?
You gave me a bag of them. You know what they are.
Oh, I forgot I had that.
Those will just clear up those.
Should I put that in the soil? Like, what do I do with that?
Yeah. Think of it as like a soil additive.
That's perfect because I'm doing weekly checkups on it. Now I have like rejuvenated my commitment to this succulent. This little tiny guy.
That's your next step, girl. I'm telling you.
Because what I've been doing, I just started it 3 days ago, but my goal was neem oil, neem spray.
Well, because you have to be careful because it's outside. It could burn the leaves.
Oh, I didn't know that. It's still under the plant stand, so probably okay.
It's probably fine, but
good to know.
Yeah.
This is why I'm here, guys. I'm not a professional.
Well, I'm not either. I'm just helpful Holly. That's
You're just helpful Holly. But good to know. Will that burn anything? Well, I don't put it on the leaves, obviously.
No.
How much? Okay, we'll talk later. That's not important right now. But it was literally like, it was a cold evening and I don't have my, I've been so lazy with getting string lights up in my backyard. It's the one finishing touch. That's why I haven't posted my backyard yet, because I want to have them up so everyone can see the full effect. But I like went to my little outdoor table. I grabbed my alcohol, my hydrogen peroxide. I
thought you meant I grabbed my alcohol. Like, I'm going to need a drink.
Oh,
that's what I thought you
meant. There wasn't that many mealy. Well, there wasn't quite a lot, and at first, okay, so these were the tools. Here's Angelique's 101 on how to save a succulent that has mealybugs. Step 1, grab a random screw off the ground. Step 2, grab hydrogen peroxide for human wounds. Step 3, well, I mean, I guess, whatever. I was recommended to use that once. Step 3, pick up when you're ever having to like stucco a wall or like paint. It's like a flat metal thing that you flatten
the little scrapey,
you flatten the putty or whatever, the scrapey thing. Grab that too. Those are the 3 tools I have. Oh,
dang, you're not messing around.
Oh, and cotton balls and cotton swabs. That was my professional. That was my toolkit. So I sat down on my little bench, dumped her out, was giving her fresh soil. I put her in a nursery pot and said, I took her out of the terracotta. I was like, I can use this for something else. And I just went to town because the middle of the rosette, like a fresh rosette was coming through, but it was covered in white mealybugs. Ooh. So the reason why I had the screw was that sometimes I started with a cotton swab, but it wasn't getting the corners, like it wasn't pointy. So then I would grab cotton, twist the screw into it.
How funny. You really needed to get like a
pointy thing. And at first I thought I was going to get through this cleaning without losing a single leaf. I lost 2 in the end, but thankfully towards the bottom. So it wasn't too bad. So the rosette I think is still intact. But it was so bad, Holly, that like, you know how like a succulent grows and you have like your lower leaves and then leaves grow kind of above that, like in tiers.
Yeah.
I had to get in between the tiers. They were using them as little apartments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that's what mealybugs do.
I would think I was done with a section and then I would just find more. I don't think I got all of them, to tell you.
And that is why systemic granules are your friend, because then the plant essentially becomes toxic to the mealybugs and they're like, ooh, we gotta move out.
We're moving.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, bird's nest fern. I'm coming. But yeah, so good to know because I got a whole pack of that.
There you go.
And I was like, Holly told me to buy this once, but I don't remember why. I just have it in my stuff.
That's so funny.
I don't even know why I bought it, but you told me to buy it once for a specific reason. It must have been bugs or something. But I went to town. Sometimes I'd use the corner of the paint thing for the putty. Sometimes I'd use the screw.
And you only lost 3 little leaves?
Only 2. Dang. Girl, I was trying to be delicate, but
you are so careful when it comes to, like, you're so like safe and precautious, and I'm just like, I don't know.
But then I use make sure you grew out your nails. Sometimes I was like, just gotta get in there a little bit.
My nubs, like I couldn't do that.
But it started to get dark, and so if you got titties, this is what I recommend. I grabbed where's my phone? I turned on the flashlight, and I went like this. And then
so you guys can't see her. She has her phone on her boobs.
Unless you're on YouTube, unofficially.
That's right. If you're watching this on YouTube. And then you have it with your chin.
So
you're
top,
like...
Oh, it's like this. Sorry. It would be like this. And then...
Oh my God.
Find like a stick. Okay.
We went down the funniest rabbit hole ever.
Pretend I have a stick in my hand. So I'm holding it like this.
Making them use their imagination.
And then I grab the little cotton. Here, pretend my drink is like the hydrogen. And then I'm just going into. I look like I'm like a grandpa from like Lebanon, just outside his little hut. I can say that my dad's from Lebanon, by the way. So
don't cancel her.
Yeah, God, give me until episode 10 before you cancel me, guys, please. But yeah, and that's how I did it. I just balanced it on my tits the whole time. I was like, I'm not going inside. I'm like freezing.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
So yeah, I did that and I neem oiled it at the end. Probably put too much. I was like, I don't know how much to do.
You're like, I'm just going to drown this thing in neem oil.
Yeah. So
that's just hilarious.
Did what I had to do. And I mean, it looks better than before. I can say that.
Yeah.
But they're thick and they're sticky. When there's a lot of them, they get sticky.
You know what's weird? If you like stab a mealybug, they turn brown. Yeah, it's disgusting.
The first time I cleaned, so my variegated elephant bush that Aurora gave me from way back when, it got mealybugs once. I think it might have gotten it from this little guy because they used to be next to each other. And that's when I was like separated. That one I cleaned up with hydrogen peroxide and a cotton swab and I never got them again. But I remember like because I had a paper towel next to me, I would like remove them with the cotton swab, put them there, and then I'd squish them, and sometimes blood came out.
I know, it's gross.
Didn't know they had blood. I mean, I guess if they're a living organism, but gross.
Ugh.
Like,
bleh. Oh my gosh. So, okay, getting back to I think we went on a really funny, like,
my bad
tangent there. No, that was
I appreciate
amazing.
my plant. So
yes.
because for those of you guys that follow me, you'll see that I have my pallet wood planter, and this little succulent is small enough to go in that, and I've always wanted to throw it in there because I think it takes up too much space in its little pot. But I can't join it with friends until it's clean. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
So I want you to tell the people, this is kind of going on our next thing. It's just really funny to have you describe the feeling you get of plant clutter. I just love hearing you talk about how you hate your plant clutter. Like,
oh, girl. So here we go. That's how it inspired this episode, I would say. So I love many a plant in one space, but if they don't have a spot, like I get anxiety if I walk into my home or anyone's home with plants. No, honest to God, Holly, your place doesn't stress me out because I feel like they all have a space. You know, that's my point.
They do.
You're like, we made a space.
Sure, yep, they do.
That's it. But no, I seriously don't feel it in your place. But
that's good.
Full I'm being genuine is what I'm trying to say. Genuinity. Genuosity. What is Genanon? I'm Genanon right now, so I don't know what that means.
Oh, I just made up that word. I don't know.
God, how is this? Jesus Christ. This cup. Woo! I was hoarding a champagne bottle for a year and this is what happens, I guess.
Yes.
But there's been, so you see this on Facebook Marketplace. Like some people will be like selling some plants and they show just pictures of them in their spots in their homes.
And you're like, where? Which one?
And it's ugly. Like it's just like the space is like.
We're being mean. We're saying.
I'm sorry. Ugly. Hire me to redesign your house. I'll do it for free. Like I need it to look nicer. You know what I mean? Like it's just when it's just all cluttered on a table, that's supposed to be where you eat. Like, you know, like this is fine. Like a little plant in the middle, whatever. But like if there's just like, I'll give an example of me so you can't cancel me. I promised my boyfriend Josh that we would only have one big trailing pothos on top of the fridge. Because while I have a ledge, because my fridge is...
Looking at my fridge.
Girl, you're good. You're good. You have one plant. It's the same thing.
That's true.
So like my fridge, like a lot of other people, it sticks out a little. It doesn't like... It's not like... Flush with... just the way the square, the rectangle that a fridge goes into.
Like the cabinets or whatever.
Yes. But again, like a lot of other people, I have cabinetry above my fridge. So even though I'd love to just stuff it with plants because it's a south facing window and only 2 feet away and it's perfect, it's tight. Yeah. So we agreed that because I have my friend that moved to Mexico, Travis, that also is into plants. You'll hear from him eventually. Yes. He had this huge trailing pothos, but he, instead of having it trail, the vine is super huge, but he had it climbing a lamp. So it went up super high, but I don't have a lamp, so now it's going down. But he moved to Mexico, so I bought it from him. And it's gorgeous, but it's in the way of our pantry door, and it blocks the cabinets up top, but there's nowhere else to put it, and I love it too much to get rid of it. So I was like, you know what? We're not in the pantry all day.
So we shouldn't be.
We shouldn't be. So I was like, if we can agree on just having it right there, I won't clutter it. I won't clutter the rest of the fridge top. But there's plants that I haven't had a chance to pot up. So that's where they go when I don't have a chance to pot them up yet.
Like your mini propagation
station. I have like a narrow form Adansonii that you've seen up there. And I have like, but it's not meant to be a prop station. That's kind of just what it's become.
It's a temporary.
Yeah. Because of my kitty cat. So like I can't have it down low.
Yeah.
So when I go into the kitchen, sometimes I look up and I'm like, I'm feeling anxiety because I know that's not its place.
Yeah.
And it feels crowded and it feels in the way because I can't utilize those cabinets when I need them.
Right.
Like anytime I have to go up there, I need to put everything down and it's a whole production.
Oh, yeah.
So when I say like crowded homes with plants, like I don't, it just doesn't feel good. Like I feel like in LA, a lot of people have little balconies in front of their old school apartments and stuff. And you'll see just like 15 pots of succulents, but kind of just scattered. Like there isn't a form to it. And because I feel this way, I get paranoid that maybe I'm doing it myself because I look in my garden and I'm like, does it look cluttered and ugly?
My place in Eagle Rock. Oh, it was too much.
But you had shelves in there.
I had shelves.
Did you feel cramped though?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
now the thing is,
that.
I had all my epiphyllums that they were my grandpa's plants. So I'm like, okay, I need to keep these.
Right.
But then I loved succulents. And for whatever reason, I thought I had an infinite amount of space on this little balcony.
With a grill up there.
Oh yeah.
Like a full grill.
Yeah. Well, actually it is technically like a mini one.
It is?
Technically.
It's a nice grill.
It is. It's a, what is it, Weber?
Tyson knows. Weber's a brand.
Yeah, he loves it. It's his baby. Anyways, yeah. So I just think it's really funny to hear you talk about how enraged you get over plant clutter.
I feel offended. It's like, how dare you
invite me over?
Not even like, how dare you? I am passing by your house as I'm driving and you just have all these plants hanging out all willy-nilly, not looking cute or happy. Any friends listening are like, Angelique, you're that person. But shut up. I can't hear you right now, so it's fine. But like, it's just, this makes me so mad. I guess it's just like,
well, like no one's perfect.
Of course,
so
including me.
But it is interesting when you can just see so clearly that something is just,
it's strewn. It's not, it doesn't feel loved when I look at it. Does that make sense?
It's true because, and this is something that I can like personally speak on, is like, I just loved the act of buying a new plant and repotting it and sticking it outside. And I really need to be more intentional. Like, well, why don't you just like repot your current plant that you have, or
see where it goes?
Or just really cherish what you have. And I'm pretty proud of myself. I feel like I'm getting better.
Yeah.
I'm less about, even if it is like a rare plant that I could potentially get through a trade, if it's not on my wish list, which I find wish lists really handy in that way.
Keeps you organized.
Yeah, but if it's not on my wish list, I shouldn't get it,
Totally.
So back to where we're like being judgmental and stuff. It's mainly, for me at least, it's mainly because I've been there.
Honest Holly arrived. An anxious Ange.
Anxious Ange, that's awesome. But yeah, so that's the main thing that I try to stay away from too, is just like having things look cluttered, having things look not intentional.
Totally.
And I think, it really does say something to be very cherishing your plants.
Totally.
And picking pots that you love. Like, I think I've talked about this too. I'm like collecting pottery.
Yeah, we talked about it in episode 3, I think.
I love it so much. And if and this is another thing too, if I realize that I don't want to use a fancy pot on a certain plant, it's like, well, why do I have the plant then? Like, if I don't feel like, of course you have like your more worthy plants of your really good expensive pottery or whatever.
Right.
But even to the point where I'm like, well, I could put this in a nicer one. It's like, nah. But I'm like, well, then maybe I shouldn't have
love the
this.
plant, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. Just, things to think about, I guess.
For me, the more I settle into this new home, because while me and Josh had that apartment for like 2.5 years, I think.
Oh, that's a long time.
Almost 2.5. Yeah. And we love it. Like, that's forever going to be our first home. I cried as we said bye to it. Like, it means a lot. It's sentimental. This feels like the most, like, it feels like we're adults now. Like, because
I love your home.
Thank you. I think
beautiful.
It's literally because it's not an apartment. I think that's what makes it, because it's just single story and you walk up and we have a porch, like a very porch. We have an entry sort of look and like a little garden. It just feels like us settling in and becoming an old couple, and like we have a house. So
you have a breakfast nook.
We have a breakfast nook.
I'm so jelly.
It's so cute.
It is.
I guess because of all of that, now when I want to buy a plant, the Orbifolia was a little bit rash of a purchase, but we figured it out really quick. So
it was on your wish list.
Yes, and we knew where it was going
Yes.
by the time it entered the home. I already had a spot for it. When I said, yes, I'm buying it, I didn't have a spot for it, but we remedied that really quickly. But with the Tetra, I have been telling you for months, I know where I'm going to put it if I buy one. It's going to be right next to my Urban Outfitters daybed on the floor, and it's going to climb that wall. I'm just going to move some decor on the wall around, call it a day. So I knew for months, like if I find the right specimen, I know where it's going and I'm not putting anything else in that spot. Whereas before I'd be like, let me just use that spot. And if I get something else, I'll figure out how to move it.
Right.
But now I'm really trying to know where something's going to go before I say yes. And that's more intentional.
It's true. And you also have to think your plants are going to grow.
Totally.
And you can propagate and keep them small. Like, of course, you don't have to keep up potting them. But if you want to see them grow, like you kind of have to think about that kind of stuff.
Totally. And yeah, it's just one of those things. So I'm feeling a little bit more intentional with everything. Yeah. And I said, it's just great. So I think the final answer to our topic today is yes, you can have too many.
Yeah. I agree.
But be honest with yourself and see what you love and cherish what you love, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think so. But this was very therapeutic, working through like, do I have too many
plant
plants?
attachments?
Yes. And I will keep you guys posted on the plants that I am selling. I'm looking at a few right now, actually, that I'm selling. And even though it's sad to see them go, I feel good about it.
You can buy them again, maybe get a cutting. Are you just for people that are listening outside of Los Angeles area? Are you open to shipping any of them? Or are you only doing local right now?
For now, I'm doing local just because a few of them are kind of big.
Yeah.
But for like some smaller ones, I have no problem shipping.
So if you're in LA or the OC or something, hit up Holly where?
At Concrete Botanical _. You can also find me concretebotanical.com for my pots, and I'm on TikTok at Concrete Botanical.
And you guys can find me, as always, trying to not kill things at Succa for Plantas, SUCCA. My main Insta is The Angelique with 2 E's at the end for me things and acting things. And then So I Got Fired is my other podcast. So check it out.
Woo-hoo.
And really, really quick before we go.
Oh, yes.
We got an announcement for you.
Is this our first big announcement ever?
So this is episode 5. And if any of you happen to be listening on YouTube, yeah, we got video-ish.
We have it. It's there, but
it's because we've been testing it. We've been playing with it, and we're like, why not just put it up? But starting next week with episode 6, we officially have a full-fledged video production of the show. So you can catch us releasing episodes every Tuesday on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and you'll get a little YouTube video up with that as well.
That's
It'll
right.
be really exciting.
Yay! You can actually see our drinks. You can
see us,
see our faces,
see all this. It's gonna be great.
I think it'll be really fun.
So thank you guys so much for listening again.
And also leave a rating and review if you don't mind.
Apple Podcasts, we need it. Please, please, please.
Yes.
And you can find us at Boozy Botanical Podcast.
That's
on
right.
Instagram.